Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk About It, Steph. Yes, you got it. I am here alone, so it's just you and I tonight. But we're not gonna stay long. There's a lot of things that's happening in the Metroplex. Um, First of all, I would like to give condolence to everyone who has been affected by ice. There is a visual that will be happening down in Denton City Square around 8:30. So if you are in the Denton County area or in the Denton area, please make sure that you go out and go to the visuals at the square. And they start at 8:30. So I want to make sure y'all know that. All right. Oh my goodness, this has been one of the wildest weeks ever. I can't make this stuff up ever, ever, ever. Well, of course, since we thought Senator Mitch McConnell was the one that was going to be on the other side, it turned out it was the other senator that wound up passing. So, condolences to Lindsey Graham's family. Even though a lot of us did not agree with 85% of the things that he's done, we're still going to send our RIP to him, right? It's the right thing to do. But let's get into these topics because I'm telling y'all this stuff I can't make it up. So we're not gonna be on here long. So I'm gonna get through this wonderful hot topics that we got. So of course, I mentioned Mitch McConnell health and who's filling Lindsey Graham's seat. Well, Senator Mitch McConnell remains out of the Senate while recovering from his illness. And of course, it's raising a lot of questions about the Republican leadership and the Senate ability to move the legislations. But obviously, they're doing something out there. At the same time, following Senator Lindsey Graham's death, South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster's appointed as Darlene Graham, sorry about that, Norden, Lindsey Graham's sister. I promise y'all I can't make this stuff up. They appointed Lindsey Graham's sister to temporarily fill the Senate seat until a special election is determined. Permanent replacement will be coming up, but did they even make the funeral arrangements? I'm just asking. I'm just asking. They haven't made the funeral arrangements yet, but they made sure that they appointed her to his seat. Interesting, right? It's a lot of interesting things that be happening down there in DC, and I have no idea who she is. I don't even know if she even really want to do it, because a lot of people say a lot of things during griefs, and sending out my condolence to a good friend of mine that lost their mom a few days ago. So sending out my condolence to the Jones family, and we're gonna move on to these hot topics. So y'all, the Save Act is a Save Act protecting election integrity, or could it create new barriers for eligible people who will be able to go and vote? Well, I can tell you, I was down at the Denton County Commissioner's office yesterday, and there was a meeting, and a lot of great people were able to stand up and say their opinions about countywide voting. Of course, I was one of the people there, but if you don't know how important it is to be at the county commissioners meetings, is so important. There's a lot of things that happen, and you wonder why we're having problems with our election. Well, the county commissioners handle a lot of that, so you definitely want to make sure that you get involved, because that's part of their job, is to be responsible for election. Now, of course, I hear in Denton, we are not countywide voting on election day. You have to go to your precinct. So that is the biggest discussion that we're all having, because if you know anything about north part of Denton, It's growing and it's growing rapidly. So we're all going to be speaking out about how important it is to have countywide voting on election day, because it is very important. We have people that have growing families and they're working outside of the county, and sometimes on election day it's hard for them to get off of work, and it's even harder when you're stuck in our horrible traffic. Anything after 4 o'clock, you're going to be stuck in traffic, so you have to leave even earlier to try to get to your destination. But if you happen to get to your precinct and know where your precinct is at, and then you're told at the last minute, hey, your precinct changed, you got to go 30 minutes up. Well, if it's 6 o'clock, 9 times out of 10, you're going to barely make it to be there in line by 7 o'clock. So we lose a lot of votes out here in Denton County. Now, why is that? Why will we not change it? Well, we would love to change it, but right now our sitting commissioners don't feel the need to change it, and their county chair wants to keep everything the same. But I'm telling you, you got to get used to change. Change happens all the time, and Denton County is growing. So eventually, they're going to have to change it to where you can go vote anywhere you want to in the county. It's a need. It's not a want. It's actually a need. It's needed. So if y'all want to get involved, please, 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 please. I'll mention who you can contact to get involved, but definitely make sure you get in contact with your Denton County Democrat Party, because they have a lot of good information as well. And we're gonna move on. Just wanted to drop that T in there for y'all. So, how are y'all doing? I know today is probably a very busy day because there is events going on all over the place. We got events going on in Flower Mound. They're having a special meeting with a lot of different candidates that are running for office. And then, of course, like I said, we're having a visual down in the Denton Square. So if you got an event that you want me to say something about, please make sure that you go email me at let's talk about stuff at gmail.com, and I'll make sure that I bring it up. And if you want to come on to the show, just hit me up. Email me, let me know, and I will bring you up. So let's change gear a little bit. There's a lot of concerns and a lot of different things that came out about the death of Nolan Wells. If y'all haven't heard about it, Nolan Wells was a young man that wound up losing his life on 4th of July. He was out on a boat with quite a few of his friends, and his phone showed up, but he didn't. And there was questions about what was going on. The parents wound up having to call the friends, and the friends act like they didn't know what was going on. They want to act like they didn't know where his phone was at. They were acting like they didn't even know where his keys were at. But guess what? The phone was at a friend's house. They opened up his phone and they deleted a lot of messages and his Snapchats. So you know how our young people like to go and take pictures on Snapchat. Well, the friends went and erased it like he never existed, like he didn't keep track of what was going on in the day. And if you know young people, they are always on their phone. They're not going to really separate from their phones unless they're in the bathroom. And usually they don't separate it even then. So there was a big issue behind that, So there's a big question mark. Why do you have his phone? Why didn't you come and let the parent know what was going on, that he was missing? He didn't get back on the boat with them. Why are y'all here and he's not? Why did y'all leave him? That's my question, and I'm quite sure that's the question that the parents have. Well, anyway, there's a lot of people who have different concerns or different opinions about what happened. That some are speculating, and all this is alleged, some are speculating that he was beaten up and thrown back in the water. So something happened to him before he entered the water. There was a search team that went out to go search the area. And when they did a first round look, he wasn't there. They didn't find his body until 2 days later. So people are questioning what's going on. And also, why did you take the boat to your house and wash it down? Now, I don't have a boat, but that's to me, that seems kind of weird that you would, on 4th of July, you would take your boat back to your house and clean it up. Am I wrong for thinking that? I think not. I think that something was very suspicious about it. And then the mother had to get a friend to go get the phone because she has 360 on the phone, and she was able to track the phone down and also see exactly where his phone went. So we don't know if when he was separated from his phone, but his phone was doing some movement all over the place. So there's a big question about there. So it's a lot of questions that's happening. There's a lot of rumors that's going on. And hopefully we'll find out exactly what's what, especially when the autopsy come out, because the autopsy is going to tell you exactly what happened. If he had his lungs were already filled with water, then we know he most likely had drowned. If it didn't, then we know something else happened to him and then he was put in the water. So the truth is going to come out. Send me your thoughts on what do you think about this, because I'm telling you this is going to be an ongoing investigation because stuff don't look right. And of course, one of the kids that was on the boat with them, his mom is a judge. So I don't know, gotta look at that a little bit differently. So my thoughts and prayers as usual is with the family, and hopefully that they can get some peace of mind and find out what happened to their son. So, on top of that, we had another incident that was on a couple of days ago where another young man, an African American young man, was with a group of friends, and they put a life jacket, a child's life jacket on him and told him to swim. And the young man kept saying, "Hey, I don't know how to swim. I don't know how to swim." And you can hear them in the background hollering at him, making animal sounds in the background, trying to get him to go and swim and telling him you should be able to swim. You wearing a life jacket, and he's obviously scared. Just so happened this couple, this family came out of nowhere, and they wind up putting him on the back of their boat and getting him to safety. So my question goes back to Nolan's family, to Nolan. If that place was crowded on 4th of July, why didn't anybody see something? Why didn't anybody say anything? Because there's always a nosy Nancy somewhere out there looking and seeing everything that's going on. So I just have a lot of questions about a lot of things that's going on, but the truth will eventually come out. It will. It will. So I am not going to have a long show tonight because I want to get down to the visual tonight, but I just want to pop in and talk to the people and just let them know what's going on. Of course, we don't know what's going on with Senator Mitch, but let me see if I can add this on right quick and y'all can kind of like hear what I was hearing.
For a stroke. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages, but I was briefly unconscious and taken to the hospital. While receiving care, he says he also got pneumonia, and he says he's been removed to a rehab facility since then. Now, South Carolina Senator Tim Scott says that he spoke with McConnell, sharing that update on CNN in the wake of Graham's death.
Senator McConnell deserves our prayers. He served our country valiantly and continues to be in good spirits from all that I've heard. I texted him over the weekend. I will simply say that we have a lot of work to get done, and we'll get our work done.
And McConnell says that he will not return to the Senate floor to vote, quote, quite yet, but that he remains active behind the scenes working with his staff. He also reiterated that he will be finishing out his term, which ends in January. Reporting live on Capitol Hill this morning, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
Websites your competitors.
Alrighty, y'all. That is the craziest thing ever that he's still hiding out and nobody knows what's going on, of course. And like I said, we're gonna find out. The truth is always gonna set you free. And with Mitch McConnell, you just never know. I just know that that's the most weirdest thing I ever seen. The pictures that's floating around with him and his wife, and he was in the same outfit that he was in. What was it last year when he had an incident? So you just never know what's happening with this group of folks, though. But y'all keep continuing on subscribing and liking and coming on to Let's Talk About Stuff. I really appreciate all the support that we have been given, and I hope to see y'all real soon, and we'll have more candidates on here. But I just want to touch bases with y'all tonight and let y'all know that we're still here, and I'm still investigating and going down and seeing what's going on in the world. And of course, I will be starting my campaign as well. So of course, I'm running for Denton County Commissioner and Precinct 4. And I will be seeing y'all out there. And tonight I will be heading down to the visual. So you will probably see me later on tonight going live in Denton County Square. So if you don't have anything to do and you would like to go down there and show your support, please come down to Denton County Square. It starts at 8:30. And until then, I'll see you next time on Let's Talk About It Stuff at 7 p.m. on Wednesday. Hope to see y'all soon, and y'all be safe and have a good weekend.